All right. Thank you everyone for coming to Digital Minds webinar today on data security. Just a little housekeeping up front. Our presentation should be around 20 minutes with 10 minutes for questions at the end. There's a chat feature in the lower right-hand corner, which I'll be monitoring the questions throughout if you have any. We want this webinar to be informative and interactive, so please reach out if you have a question. All attendees are in listen-only mode, and this webinar is being recorded and will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. And for everyone that attended today, we'll be sending you a $5 Starbucks gift card. So thanks for joining us. I'll introduce myself. My name is Jordan Nip. I'm Digital Minds Marketing Manager, so I'm the one sending you the emails and newsletters, just to put a face to a name. And my contact information is on the screen, so feel free to reach out. I'll introduce our speaker today, Michael Bush. As most of y'all know, he is Digital Minds Managing Partner for the last 19 years. And with that, I will give it to him.
Well, thank you, Jordan. As always, I want to say thank you for everybody joining here. We know your time is precious, and we try to make these informative, what technologies are out there available to hopefully make your lives a little better and secure and a little calmer. So with that, I'd like to talk about today a little bit going into the cloud. Well, we're going to be talking about cloud computing and we're trying to put it in a little bit simple terms and really how to be smart with cloud computing. And then we'll transition that into different false synchronization technologies out there. So the first thing is, what is the cloud? Is the name is kind of been rebranded over the years from it used to be called hosting, and typically the word hosting may be more related to specific services, and really the cloud is really more a combination of hosting together. So you can look at the cloud more like a utility grid, like your water services. It's really evolving more into that because there's so many things being connected and pulled in. So it's just a natural. It's evolving more into a natural service that everyone can tap into and utilize those services, and allows you to move from not only from city to city, state to state, country to country now. So that's kind of how it has evolved into that. So you think, well, now I'm really not getting into the cloud, not using it, but well, yes, in fact, you're already using the cloud. If you're using the Google search engine and Facebook and LinkedIn and all these various Twitter, your Gmail, everybody's pretty much got a Gmail account now these days. So all these things are already in place, and they've built out this back-end infrastructure to use a cloud. And a cloud could be that they not only have one data center, they have multiple data centers that are being shared across those data centers within one country to multiple countries. So it gives you more this redundant background to have all your data in. And what the really good question here is, are you using your cloud computing? If you are not using that, you might want to consider using it. And really, because of the mobile capabilities, what you can do, and being smart and being really strategic about it. So in trying to have a simplistic overview. Right now, you're being in your office, and you can, if you in a cloud scenario, you have all your infrastructure not on premise, not at your office or anything, but it's really in a data center or multiple data centers. So you just remote desktop into it, or use a mobile device to go into it. So you can start a session at one location, you could go home, you could be traveling, and you have access to all these services no matter where you're at. In this simplistic way, that's the way it is. And it's like a utility via the web. I mean, you need electricity, you need water, so that's the way to look at it. And it just, you have a seamless flowing environment this way. The nice part about it is, cloud computing and mobile devices really work hand in hand. With the way the devices are getting so much smaller and simpler to use, and the power that's in mobile devices, it really gives a end user a lot of flexibility and capabilities in there. So there's so many businesses now really going more to a cloud computing type environment, and depending on the kind of business you have, your upfront costs are going to be a lot. Your capital expenditures that you're going to have to buy the equipment is going to be a lot less when you go to a cloud computing environment, such as where if you're paying now maybe $2,000, $1,500 to $2,000 for a desktop or a laptop, that cost could be greatly reduced. The other nice thing about it is you could hold off those expenditures to a lot longer, because you can use that equipment a lot longer. Even though it's become legacy, you don't need the computing horsepower on those devices like you would do if you're trying to run all this locally on there. And you can access your desktop from anywhere, and if something were to happen to that device, so you have an older laptop and it were to die, you can just go get another replacement, or just anything spare around the office, you can get reconnected back out to your desktop and continue working. And the model of a cloud computing is really more of a utility pay-as-you-go type environment. So if you need to scale up, so if you hire 5 people, there's just an incremental cost based on those additional 5 users and the computing resources, or if you already sized appropriately, there may not be additional costs there sometimes. Likewise, if you need to downsize, you can reduce your cost too by doing it that way. So, part of, goes back to what we'd asked earlier, how smart are you about the cloud? You just keep in mind that, you can access it from anywhere. If you're doing, you can have fluid collaboration, meaning that you can have remote offices working with the same data at the same time. You can have users working from home. You can share that both internally and externally. And the key thing here is being in a provider that has compliant data centers and having these redundant data centers, because when you move it out to the cloud, you want to make sure what we talked about is it's no longer just a single hosting. It's you want to have multiple points, so that if you have a failure, it's just you keep on moving with the data at the other location. You want to have backup and restore features, and the nice part about some of these is it gives you some administrative control, allow you to be able to add users, delete users if you need to, change their security rights to it. Well, one of the things that we've got is DMI Sync, which we've deployed through many of our clients, and it gives you a lot of those features that we talked about, and it brings mobility, productivity to both laptop, remote users, to mobile devices. You can have real-time access to your files and to recent versions that you've had. So if you want to go back to a previous version, you can go back there. An Excel spreadsheet, you made 5 changes to it, you can get all 5 changes back at any time. You can track the user activities with it, who's modifying what. You can securely share files, send them links, and you can also allow, you can work collaboratively with remote users or remote vendors to allow them to update files also. So, we have, like on all of our presentations, we have some case studies one is case study A is a construction company. They've gone through about file 3 other file synchronization vendors, and they needed file server access via laptops and mobile devices. And we implemented DMI Sync with file server enablement. It allowed them to be able to remotely access their data from different offices throughout the country, and through both, using laptops to workstations to even their mobile phones, and it basically empowers those users to make those changes and updates in C files that they need to do. Case study B is an engineering firm. There was a challenge there. They relocated their company but left a lot of their engineers and designers in another location, and they were connecting via VPN. And that VPN was very slow, and part of that slowness is sometimes caused some files to get corrupted. And so we looked at it and evaluated it, and we basically, with our DMI Sync, was able to eliminate the VPN and use their DMI Sync, and we were able to push projects directly to the remote users' workstations, and it was greatly, the user experience was greatly improved. Performance and stability. The nice part about it, they were updating AutoCAD files and their other files right directly on their workstations, and that was getting pushed back to their central office server. And case study C, we had a design firm. They were wanting to relocate their office, and their team had been working in this office collaboratively, and they wanted to be able to continue that way. And so, but they had data on one of their little mini servers in their office, and so one of the things we did was we were able to take them, and they work completely in the cloud now using DMI Sync, and so they can remotely access all their files, all their projects, and through our data center, and they don't have a file server anymore. It's totally in the data center. So we can go on. We have healthcare clients who they go into various ORs, and where if they needed to have access to data back at the server through a VPN, a lot of times there were connection issues through the hospitals, and so with DMI Sync we were able to put that information directly on like Microsoft Surface tablets, and they could get access to it immediately. They could update things, and if there's the operation they were in there was very short, they only have so much time. As soon as they got connected again, all that synced back up to the main office. So we have case studies after case studies of very successful implementations of the product, and so it's just an example of what you can do with cloud computing these days. And just want everyone attending today to think about how are you using your technology in your business, and do you have the right tools for doing that? So with that, I'm going to turn it back over to Jordan.
All right, thank you. I'm looking to see if there's any questions, and it doesn't look like there are, but thank you for joining us. For everyone who came today, we'll send you a $5 Starbucks gift card. Check your inbox later today. And look for a short survey following this to help us serve you better with future webinars. We would love it if you submitted some topics that you're interested in. We are always open for that, and want to hold these monthlies as a service to you guys, so you understand either what you are using with us better, or what you could be using, and just some topics throughout technology that you may not understand. So thank you for coming today, and with that, I think we will close it out. So let me